Hi, thank you so much for stopping by Mind and Body Awakenings. I would love to be able to tell you a little bit more about what we do and see if we're a good fit to help you on your journey. So the first thing I want to do is ask you some questions. The first question is, have you ever felt stuck? A lot of us go through different periods of our life where we just feel like we're kind of trapped wherever we're at. The next question I have for you, have you ever felt overwhelmed or like there's just no possibility for life to change for you at all? If the answer is yes for either one of those questions, then you're actually in the perfect place. Mind and Body Awakenings, our specific goal is to help you on your journey to become the best version of yourself. I would like to start by telling you a little bit more about us. Mind and Body Awakenings actually has a whole bunch of different modalities of services that we provide to help people in a holistic healing way. I myself am a transformational coach. I specialize in helping women overcome abusive relationships and rediscover themselves after those relationships. But of course, if there is anything that you would like specific help in, no matter who you are, I would be more than happy and able to create a specific program for you to help you on your journey. What I love about coaching is that it actually allows people to have someone who is an expert in their field to help bring you to a better place while giving very specific techniques that you can use, homework assignments, and keeping you accountable. I think one of the biggest things is we say we're going to do something and a month goes by, and since we're the only ones holding ourselves accountable, we don't actually get to move forward and accomplish those goals. So we go back to that stuck feeling and feeling like we're just not going to be able to change. So coaching is really great because it helps keep you motivated, keeps you on track, and has kind of someone to answer to. A lot of us don't have that anymore. We only have ourselves to answer to, so then we just don't do it. So transformational coaching is actually specifically what I do. Reiki healing is wonderful. It's actually a technique that allows for energy to flow more freely throughout the body. This can be especially helpful if you are having problems with illness, with pain, with stress or depression. Any of those things can be helped through Reiki. I can tell you that from my own experience with Reiki, I had a left shoulder that was having a lot of problems, and I went to the doctor and they said, listen, the only thing that we can really do is give you some kind of medication and you're gonna need surgery. And I said, I'm really not interested in doing that. Let me see what else I can do. So I started exploring different options, and Reiki became an option of something that I could do. So I tried it, and after the first time, bam, shoulder pain gone. Within 5 to 10 minutes, it was completely gone. And it's been 4 years since the doctor said I needed some kind of surgery, and I need nothing. In fact, if I start to have a little bit of pain, I am actually able to go get a Reiki treatment, and then the pain actually goes away. So it's wonderful to be able to have that, and actually holding a young child, because I have a 19-month-old son, can be very difficult at times, and I really hardly ever have any pain, so I hardly ever need that upgrade of another Reiki session specifically for my shoulder. Another thing that we offer is something called Psych-k. Psych-k is, it's been around for 25 years. And what Psych-k does is it works on your subconscious beliefs, where 95% of our thinking comes from, which means we're not thinking about it. We're just acting in automatic mode. My husband, David, actually has been doing it for more than a few years and has become very adept at really getting to the core of whatever the issue is and helping you come up with a new belief statement to replace the old belief statement. And then he uses a bunch of different techniques to really ingrain that into your head and now make that your new subconscious belief, so you don't go back into the automatic mode. We also offer holistic social work, which is another name for therapy. Therapy is wonderful to really get to the heart of whatever issues you might be having that you might not even realize are going on. It could help you with issues of grief, anger, depression, stress, marriage issues, communication problems, any of those things. So really get to the root of something that you might have been holding back on and might not have been honest to yourself that you were going through it. And then what's so great about therapy is that after you finally figured out what the root cause is, you actually are given very specific techniques to be able to improve in those areas of your life. And our therapist is amazing at really helping people move forward and really get to get to the heart of whatever it is that's bothering them and make changes. Another thing that we have is nutritional coaching. Our nutritional coach is amazing. She has a really great background in nutrition. Nutrition is one of those things that I'm kind of amazed at times. We are here in 2017 with the ability to eat pretty much whatever we want as Americans. We have we can go out to any supermarket, and of course, cost is definitely an issue for some people, but we can choose the types of foods that we want. And we're actually living in a country where most people are vitamin deficient. And because of that vitamin deficiency, we're seeing huge numbers of people that are having major health issues because they're not living in their total vibrant body. They're not living the best life that they possibly can. With all those trillions of cells, without them being nourished properly, you're not able to function correctly. So once we get you on that hyper-nourishing nutrition program, and our coach works specifically with you to figure out what your needs are and what's going to work best for you, then you can start noticing some changes in every aspect of your life. And even for some people, some of the chronic diseases that they thought they could never get rid of might be easily gotten rid of once they get their nutrition back on track. I have found that a combination of all these things together are really, really essential in really finding long-term change and growth. So if you're looking for any of those things, that would definitely be a good place to start. So some of you might be saying, okay, well, why did Stephanie start doing all of this? What inspired her to move in this direction? So I can tell you that I had 15 plus years of being in one dysfunctional, unhealthy relationship, going right into another dysfunctional, unhealthy relationship. And I felt like I was losing time. I was getting older. And at 35 years old, after recently getting divorced, I was feeling a lot of emotions because of that. I was feeling really, troubled with the fact that I was 35, and at that point, that felt really old. I was having legal issues. I got a blood clot in my arm. My grandmother passed away. And it was just, and I had a really bad breakup. I had started dating somebody after my divorce, and he just ghosted me. He disappeared. And it was the first time in my life where I felt totally and completely alone. And I felt like I had to do everything completely by myself. It was awful. I can look back and say that it was needed, but it was awful going through it. And there were moments where I could not get out of bed. It hurt to breathe. It hurt to just open my eyes and put my feet on the ground and go to work every day. I was at my rock bottom. I was depressed. I didn't want to function in regular society anymore, and I would pretty much just go to work, come home, lay in the fetal position, watching television, actually self-help videos specifically, until I would try to fall off to sleep, and then I would wake up after just a few hours of sleeping and be up. So I was only getting about 3 hours of sleep, and that was another sign of the major depression that I was in. So I decided that I wanted to start making some changes. I didn't want to keep living that way. And I lived that way for a few months, and I felt like a victim, and I felt, why me, and all these horrible things. And every day I was like, just get through this day, just get through this day. At some point it can possibly get better. And I did have that feeling inside of me, but it just wasn't happening. And it was weeks and weeks turned into months. And it was just this overwhelming depression that I never would have thought that I could experience, because I felt like I was normally someone that could deal with life's problems pretty well. And this point was not. I was not dealing with things very well at all. So I decided to start looking at what the lesson could be. And I started to think about, okay, what is it that I need to learn from all these horrible things happening? And I started to look at a bunch of different modalities. And of course, what did I turn to? Well, I was able to turn to coaching and therapy and nutrition, exercise. I started doing yoga, and just had a big variety of different things that I used to help me. And I started to find that I wasn't the only one who needed help like this. As things started to get better for me, it was like this giant weight had been lifted off, and I was actually turning into the best version of myself. After all of that pain and all of that sorrow, I actually was becoming the best me that I could have ever imagined. And I wanted to share that with other people. So I started Mind and Body Awakening specifically with the people that I chose, because those were people that were doing the same types of services that I used when I was using them to heal myself when I was going through my depression. And I'll tell you, it was worth the work, and it was worth that horrible depression, because had I not been there, I wouldn't be here. And here is a wonderful husband, a 1.5-year-old son that is just so adorable. And I would have never experienced those things had I not gone through that process. And we would love to be able to help you with that process, get you to where you need to be, whatever your best version of you is. So the next thing, what is my background? So how is it that I have the audacity to share this? Yes, of course, I did go through all of this stuff myself. So I am aware what it's like to be in that really dark, terrible place. For you, it might not be a relationship. For you, it might be something else terrible that you experienced. But I feel like I have a pretty well-rounded, well-balanced view when it comes to health. So I have a background in psychology. I actually got my bachelor's degree in psychology from SUNY New Paltz. I then went on and got a double master's degree in health and education. From there, I was also working as a crisis counselor. So I got to experience being a crisis counselor from all different angles, through education, going to schools, and actually taking hotline calls. I also continued on with education to get a certification in nutrition. I also got some more education to work with disabled children, and kept going. And then I decided I wanted to do Reiki as well. So I am now a level 2 Reiki practitioner. And then all of that just kind of kept going to make me really interested in learning how to be a coach. So I, got my certification in coaching, and since then have been able to really transform people's lives. And I am always so honored when I get to have those phone calls with my clients and really watch them grow and continue on their journey of becoming their best versions of themselves. And I actually also have a book that's coming out. In the next few months, keep your eyes out for a book that I am in the works of writing. It's called Being Loved Shouldn't Hurt. And it basically is just sharing my life story and the journey that I had to go through in order to help other people. So with me sharing my story, the hope is that you will have some very specific things that you can use to start making the life that you want now. So that way you don't have to go through such a horrible time as you're rediscovering yourselves, because you'll have some very specific things that you can use, some specific techniques that you can use to help really move yourself forward. So basically what I see for our business and what I see for us is our goal, realistically, no matter what, it's not about, how many clients we have or anything else, but our goal really is to change as many lives as we possibly can in a positive way. That to me is one of the reasons why I was put on this earth. That was one of the reasons why I feel this pull. It's not even like a want anymore. It's become this have to. Like I have to share this information with people, because I know that for me, I would be missing out on all these wonderful experiences had I not learned these lessons and become a better version of myself. And I see so many people out there struggling with the same issues. They're looking to become better versions of themselves, but they just don't have the ability. They don't know what to do, and they really feel trapped in their situation. So our goal is really to help get you unstuck and to help guide you and motivate you and do whatever it is that you need to get you back on track and to start really creating the life that you want. And my thought is, imagine how much better the world would be if every single one of us was living the best versions of our lives. There would be so much more happiness. There would be so much more love. And that's really what life is all about, is what we can give back and what we can share with other people. So thank you so much for listening. Of course, feel free to leave a message in the comments below and give us a thumbs up, whatever it is that you want to do in the comments, or, push the buttons or whatever. And feel free to share this with whomever you think might be interested in learning more about our services. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we look forward to working with you.